Today we are updating you guys on Glenn's urban farm. So let's check it out.
I'm glad you're here. This is Father's Day, so thanks for coming. I wanted to kind of give you an update with my farm because things change a lot during the summertime. So I think earlier we looked at my onions here, and my onions were kind of just getting started. And then we had a lot of lettuce, and I left my lettuce right here. And remember, the lettuce was real big leaves. These tomatoes were really small down here, and I said that the tomatoes would grow up, and then I'll be pulling the lettuce up now because it's going to head, and I just give it to the chickens. But let's look at the onions. I have the onions here, and I'm ready to harvest them. To let you know how to when the time is to harvest the onions, you see the neck on this. Normally it stands up like this. And if you did, I watered it, kept them in good order this year, so none of them went to head. But if you don't, you'll see some starting to have flowers, and they don't save very well. But these, when the neck flips over, and it's kind of, you can pull them up. And this is what an onion looks like. This is my hand. This is the size it is. So it's a nice size onion. So I'm gonna pick these, and then we'll talk about how to treat them so that they last at your house. So I'm gonna pull another one up, just kind of dust them off like this. I won't do them all, but they're all about the same size. Again, this is in a cinder block, and they're ready to go. Now, some of these may have a straight neck. This one right here still has a straight neck on it. It's not flipped over yet. So if it's like this, I don't mess with it. So all these I pull up, but I leave this one. So I'll pull this one up, knock some of the dirt off, throw it in my thing here. Here's another one. And I like to get them real big. I like them to go through the whole process, and I don't normally eat a lot of them until they come to this. So I'm gonna stop here. I could keep on going. You see all the other ones down here. And I have a volunteer moss rose that came up, so I just left that in because it's really pretty. To preserve these, you take the onions, and you don't need to just put them in a bag or something. You've got to let them dry. So I've got a pallet here, and you know how I like to do stuff. And I place them on here. What happens to that is it has a lot of air that comes through it. You're not on a hard surface. You got air coming from the bottom, the sides, and the top. So this works out perfectly. So I just line these up. And you want to pick them as soon as you can once they bend over, because if not, it can cause some trouble with bacteria and stuff that will make them rot. I did that one year, and I just didn't pull them up and just left them there, and eventually they rotted. So this is perfect timing. This will stay outside for about 2 weeks. And it's I need to be very careful not to let it rain on them. And so I've got a tarp here. So whenever it rains, I'll just take this tarp and put right on top of it. But after the end of the 2 weeks, I'll notice that this will flake off. Now these are roots. They're not shriveled up or anything. And then this, I'll be able to twist it, and it won't slide in my hand. And so I'll test that. But again, it takes a couple weeks for that to happen. You want the temperature to be between 75 and 85 degrees. So outside's good. I may, if it gets too hot, I may move them into my garage. So in about 2 weeks, these onions will be cured, and they'll be ready to put into. When they're cured, when it's ready, I'll trim it off about 2 inches from here, about 2 inches up. I just snip it with some scissors. And then this will probably just rub off, but I could cut that, and then I can store them. And they need to be stored in a container that's open. It doesn't need to be a sealed container. When the tomatoes started growing, we would cut off some things called suckers. That keeps it from your big tomatoes, like the big boys or better boys, to have bigger tomatoes on it. And so I pull these off, and I stick them in water. And these were just pulled off today. In about a week, you'll have a lot of roots coming out, and in a couple of days after the roots start coming out, there'll be so many of them, and they'll be ready to plant. These two are suckers right here, and so I was able to have some Juliet tomatoes here that will mature later in the summertime. I think we talked about the cilantro And so I've kept it this way. It's not cilantro anymore, but it's got coriander seed. And so I'll just pull those off, and this is will be used as a seasoning in some recipes. So I'll do that. And also I'll use them for seed whenever we want some cilantro in the fall. And I normally plant cilantro about August, because it is a cool weather crop, and if you plant too much earlier than that, it's going to be too hot for it. If you look over here, these are some more tomatoes I bought. I got another 6-pack of Better Boys, so I could have some late tomatoes. So over here on the front, I've got the big tomatoes. They're about 5, some are 5, 6 feet tall. And talking about tall, look at this. I was determined this year to let these sunflowers that came up, all the volunteer sunflowers, to keep on growing. I was going to let them do it because it was my wife's favorite flower, and so I wanted to honor her and let us have some big sunflowers. So I've got 3 of these. The grandkids are thinking it's that I planted seed from the Jack and the Beanstalk book, but no, these are really tall. Now I'm 5'10", so I'm gonna stand right here, and so if I stick my arm up, I'm still not reaching the very top of it. So this is a huge sunflower. And something that's strange that you need to know about on sunflowers is the sun is right over this direction here. So the very top is always directed to the sun. So in the morning, if the sun's over here, the top of it will be bent this way. So again, that's the reason they're called sunflower, not just because they look like a sun, because they follow the sun all day long. Got my Juliet tomatoes here, and I think I told you when I just started it, this is my favorite tomato, and I just want to kind of show them to you. Look how beautiful they are. This is a cluster, and look how beautiful. This is the size they'll get, the size right here. So it's about that big, and I'm starting to get some of them. Here's one I'll pick this one. This is it's orange, but we'll have red ones. But what I like about this, it's very firm. The taste is incredible. They don't rot. You can keep them on the table for a long time. When you pick one, you don't have other ones fall off the vine. So the perfect tomato. Again, it's called the Juliet. We're over here now with my garlics, and I think probably last time when you looked, they were straight up. But now notice that they bent over and they're sideways. And so if I pull these up, here we go. I've got a garlic bulb. So this is kind of exciting to be able to get a garlic like this from the store, take the cloves off of it, and then plant those, and they become garlic. Here's the grapes. I think last time we had just tiny grapes on it, but they're changing. Look how large they are. Beautiful. There are clusters everywhere. Down here. Here's another cluster. Here's another cluster. Look at these clusters down here. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful grapes. Just like the kind you would get in the store. And there's some on the other side. So again, the grapes are doing very well this year. Probably make some grape jelly. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with them, but we're going to make something with them. I don't think we talked about this last time. I think I just kind of missed this area. This is raspberries, and the grandkids said they're supposed to be blue. You always hear about blue raspberry flavoring for different things, but this is what they look like. And I just finished picking a few of those recently. In fact, earlier this morning. Here's another one that's ready. Not quite ready, but I'm going to go ahead and pick it. Again, you roll it like you do blueberries. Just roll it through your hand. And here's another one. And another one. I'm just rolling them off and dropping them in my hand. So these freeze very well. And I won't pick any more. I'll pick them tomorrow morning. But the thing about raspberries is they're ready to be picked earlier than blackberries are. So if you wait till blackberry season and then you come to look at your raspberries, they're already gone. And so you need to realize this is the time of year, probably the first part of June through the end of June. These are my peepers. This is an update. The reason I call them peepers is they peep, 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 peep. So if I can hear them say it, I know if I hear that noise, I know I can find them. They love being with the chickens. They love being together, so I'm glad we've got 2 of them. They stick together all the time. However, Buffy will come if she's alerted to danger. In fact, whenever I pick them up, Buffy is laying eggs now. She just came and puffed up her feathers at me, and right now she likes me to hold her. She's back to her normal self, but she's still protecting them, but she's giving them independence. In fact, when they're up on the roost at night, they don't even get near her sometimes. But they are always most of the time they're side by side. You can see the coloration of these. This one, black and white. It looks like a bar Plymouth Rock. I don't know what it is. This looks more, the coloration of this one looks more like an Easter egger because of the colors of the feather and everything. But they've got feathers. They're cute. They're very healthy. They take care of themselves. They know how to stay away from the chickens, and so I'm real pleased with how they're growing up, and I've really enjoyed having these. Thanks for coming out. I wanted to do an update of the garden that I'm doing. I went ahead and pulled up, not all of them, but I pulled up 3 rows here of the onions, and again I'll let them cure. Then we'll be able to have them all summer and the fall. So I'm looking forward to using them like we did last year.